Ah, love, the enchanting melody that echoes through the chambers of the heart, the sonnet composed with the whispers of desire and the sweet cadence of affection. Can you hear it? The gentle whispers of serenades. Can you smell it? The intoxicating scent of roses in the air, scaling mountains, crossing oceans, and fighting hordes of countless enemies. What wouldn't you do in the name of love? But what if all these dramatic sentimentalities of love spewed throughout all history were nothing more than nauseating theatrics, and love is nothing but a concoction of biological impulses and psychological delusions? In this two-part video series, we'll be deconstructing the concept of romantic love. In part one, I'll be providing scientific insights about love from a biological, evolutionary, and psychological perspective. In part two, we'll be talking about love as a social construct and how it's used to control the populace. From a biological perspective, our feelings and experiences of romantic love are caused by specific patterns of brain activity and levels of neurotransmitters, the messenger molecules used by our nervous system to transmit signals within the brain and body. In the early stages of a romantic relationship, there is a heightened release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This surge creates feelings of euphoria, excitement, and a strong desire for closeness with their partner. Norepinephrine, another neurotransmitter also involved in arousal and attention, further contributes to the fluttery, can't get him out of your head sensation we get when infatuated. Oxytocin and vasopressin, two hormones produced in the hypothalamus, play important roles in long-term attachment and bonding. Oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone, is released during intimate moments such as hugging, kissing, and sex, and it helps foster trust and attachment between individuals. From an evolutionary perspective, the ultimate goal of biological organisms, including humans, is survival. This creates the need to pass on their genetic material to the next generation. Love, as an emotional and behavioral phenomenon, is considered to have evolved as an adaptive mechanism to serve this basic and fundamental biological imperative. Love evolved under pressure from natural selection to enhance reproductive success. For example, the emotional experiences of attraction, attachment, and bonding are thought to have developed to facilitate the selection of suitable mates for reproduction. Pleasure during sexual activity serves as a potent motivator, encouraging individuals to engage in behaviors that lead to reproduction. This pleasure reinforces the likelihood that individuals will actively seek and participate in sexual activities, contributing to the continuation of the species. Love, in the context of parenting, is seen as a mechanism to ensure parental investment in offspring. The emotional bonds between parents and children, driven by oxytocin and other neurochemicals, enhance the chances of offspring survival and successive reproduction. It can be argued that it's the unique and individual expressions of love which make them special, but the individual preferences in selecting a mate, the diverse expressions of affection, and the different types of relationship dynamics are nothing more than intellectualizations of these same base evolved mechanisms. These preferences and behaviors are shaped by individual experiences, in addition to both cultural and societal influences, but they are ultimately derived from the biological imperative to find a suitable mate for reproduction, albeit in a very roundabout way. In the early stages of a relationship, dopamine levels are elevated, contributing to the intense emotional highs associated with love. Over time, the repeated exposure to the same partner and the predictability of the relationship leads to a reduction of dopamine and the other chemicals associated with love. The brain becomes less responsive to the familiar stimuli, resulting in a decrease in the emotional highs. The levels of vasopressin and oxytocin, the bonding hormones, drop as the need for continuous bonding lessens. The decline of these levels contributes to the diminishing of the intense emotional connection that was more present during the initial stages. Hormones such as prolactin, which rises after orgasm, and changes in androgen receptors can affect mood and sexual desire. After orgasm, dopamine levels fall sharply, contributing to a temporary decline in sexual interest. Over time, these hormonal shifts, combined with other neurochemical changes, lead to decreased sexual motivation and arousal in long-term relationships. This usually influences the dynamics of physical intimacy in the relationship, and they subsequently decline. Biologically, the diminishing excitement over time is an adaptive mechanism designed to encourage individuals to explore new sexual experiences with potentially different partners, contributing to evolutionary goals. From an evolutionary standpoint, seeking new mates allows for the mixing of genetic material, promoting diversity in offspring. This diversity is helpful for adapting to changing environmental conditions and enhancing the overall reproductive success of a population. Mental models are internal representations or cognitive structures that humans create to understand, interpret, and navigate their environment. These models help us make sense of the world, predict outcomes, and guide our actions. Mental modeling involves assimilating information from our experiences, sensory inputs, and interactions with the environment. This forms a conceptual framework that allows us to interpret and respond to the complexities of the world around us. Cognitive filtering involves the selecting and processing of information. It is the mechanism by which people filter, interpret, and prioritize information from the environment based on their existing mental models, beliefs, values, and goals. The purpose of cognitive filtering is to help us manage the overwhelming amount of information we encounter daily. It allows individuals to focus on relevant stimuli, ignore irrelevant or incongruent information, and maintain a coherent mental representation of their surroundings. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where individuals attribute their own thoughts, feelings, and characteristics onto others. This can involve both negative and positive traits. Positive projection occurs when individuals attribute positive qualities, values, or intentions to others, often based on their own desires or ideals. In the early stages of romantic relationships, people have limited information about their partners. Ambiguity in the partner's behavior allows for subjective interpretations based on the individual's desires, expectations, and biases. This initial filtering helps create a preliminary mental model that serves as the foundation. Over the course of a relationship, these mental models change based on perceptions, beliefs, expectations, and assumptions about the partner's personality, preferences, behaviors, and characteristics. People tend to focus only on certain aspects of their partner's personality and characteristics. Selective attention involves prioritizing information that aligns with one's expectations or desires. For instance, if someone is drawn to kindness, they may pay extra attention to instances where their partner appears to be kind. Positive assumptions about a partner can lead to a cognitive bias known as the positivity bias. In this context, individuals may interpret ambiguous or neutral behaviors in a positive light. For example, a simple gesture like a smile might be attributed to the partner's happiness or friendliness, reinforcing positive perceptions. people also downplay or minimize negative information about their partner. This could involve rationalizing or explaining away behaviors that don't align with the initial mental model. There might be a tendency to give the benefit of the doubt or attribute negative actions to external factors rather than them potentially being based on intrinsic traits of the other person. Psychological projection plays a significant role in shaping and maintaining the mental models individuals create of their partners. Consider a scenario where someone highly values loyalty. In this case, a positive psychological projection may occur when the individual unconsciously projects their own loyalty onto their partner. For instance, even in the absence of explicit displays of loyalty from the partner, the individual might interpret subtle comments, gestures, or actions as indicative of loyalty. This projection allows the individual to perceive their partner as possessing the valued trait, aligning with the mental model that prioritizes loyalty. This projection-driven interpretation can create a dynamic where the individual filters and selectively attends to information that supports their pre-existing belief in the partner's loyalty and their desire of it. Even neutral or ambiguous behaviors may be reframed in the context of this projection, reinforcing the mental model and contributing to a positive bias in the individual's perception of the partner. The fact is that we often interact more with the mental models of our romantic partners than with the individuals themselves. When we're apart from our partner and long for them, or when we think about how much we love and care for them, what we're actually experiencing is our internal representation or the mental model of that person and not the real person. When we reminisce about shared experiences or remember moments of profound joy with our partner, what we're recalling is not a direct replay of those events. Instead, our minds reconstruct and reinterpret those memories, filtering them through our current emotional state and perceptions. The mental model dictates how we recall and feel about past interactions. Whenever we think about our partner's qualities, such as their kindness, intelligence, or sense of humor, we are engaging with only our mental model. We are reflecting on and appreciating the aspects we've internalized and considered important. This process is subjective, influenced by our own values and preferences. Even in moments of conflict or when solving problems, our minds engage with the mental model. How we perceive our partner's actions, interpret their words, and formulate solutions, it is with our internal representation of them. This mental model shapes the way we approach and navigate challenges in the relationship. The understanding of someone, as represented by our mental model of them, is an abstraction, a simplified version that may capture certain aspects of their personality, behavior, and characteristics, but humans are dynamic beings with changing thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and experiences that cannot fit neatly into the molds of our mental constructs. There exists a distinct boundary that separates our understanding from the true depth and complexity of another person. The love we profess may be rooted more in the projection of our own ideals onto others rather than a genuine appreciation of their multifaceted realities. In a definitively constructed reality, the question arises, do we love the real person, or do we love the version we've imagined, molded, and are comfortable with? In the tapestry of human experience, love has long been woven with threads of profound sentiments, a complex symphony of emotions that transcends time and space. It has been heralded as the force that awakens the soul, an untamed mystery that shapes destinies and elevates the human spirit. Yet these are nothing but idealized notions. When we let go, we uncover a reality tethered to the deterministic forces within our biology, genetics, and cognitive faculties. If you got something out of this video, check out part 2, where I'm going to be attempting to dismantle love from a socially critical perspective, explaining how it's nothing but a tool to control the masses.